This section is about the quality of song and bringing that into our Tai Chi, into our structure that we've already been working on, and filling that vessel with this essence of song. Song is necessary for all of the other qualities. So if we're doing Tai Chi and we don't have the essence of song, it's sort of like owning a really fancy car, but not putting fuel in it. You know, you can sit there and admire how beautiful it is, but if you don't have any fuel in that car, then you can't thoroughly enjoy, say, if a Lamborghini or a Jaguar or something like that. So just doing the external movements of Tai Chi really is sort of an empty expression, and not emptiness in the way that we seek. When we fill it with song, then it has a certain essence to it, and that essence actually opens up space in our body, in our mind, and even in our spirit. And within that space, we can put different qualities. So we can fill, for example, with these different types of momentum, Pong, Lu, Ji, An. Or we can just reside in that stillness of that space, even though we're moving. And in that stillness, there's potential. There's potential for solutions to come our way. There's potential for a different manner of handling incoming force. If we're empty, then we are actually crowding our internal space. I'm sorry, if we're empty of song, if we don't have the quality of song and we're just going through the motions, then we are actually crowding the space. And then we're more of in a reactionary mode if we're dealing with a confrontation, whether somebody physically pushing on you or a confrontation of the heart. And so song, while it brings this certain essence into our Tai Chi, which is really the fuel behind the beauty of Tai Chi and the power of Tai Chi, it is also something that we can carry into our daily life, and that we should. And in that space, we can become less reactionary and become more elective in our choices of response. So when we do Tai Chi, we learn how to song our body, and eventually that will change your chemistry and your whole makeup and the way that you interact with the environment around you. So then you start to practice song in other ways, not just within the confines of your Tai Chi. That's the ultimate goal of this training and this course. But for now, you need to recognize song in a very tangible way. So as we move forward in these videos, I'm going to take you step by step to realizing and sensing song in a tangible way so that you can use that as the seed to grow song more and more throughout your Tai Chi experience and your life experience. Song is about creating space. And we create space by releasing tension. And tension is not always the muscle tension, although that is the primary one, but it is anything that binds us. So if you read in my book about this, about letting go per se, and what that really is, it's anything that binds us. That could be our mental patterns, that could be our emotional patterns, that could be our fixations, even our goals. Once we learn to recognize things that bind us and we can release them physically first, then we can begin to recognize those things externally and begin to release those as well. So we need to be able to release, have a sensation of release, and it's a little different than letting go. So what I want you to do just for a quick experience of releasing is just tighten up your fist and your bicep and your shoulder and really tighten it. And this is sort of a metaphor, isn't it, for holding on tight. And then just release it. And when you release it, I want you to imagine that you're filling it. Now compare that arm to the other arm and how it feels. Now we have this one positioned a little differently, but one arm has a little bit more of a buoyant feeling. The arm that you tensed and then you released. And that buoyant feeling and that filling is the critical piece. So it's not just about releasing, but it's also about filling. And what are we filling with? Well, it's a sensation of feeling like a balloon. What are we filling a balloon with? Well, we're filling it with air. Air is not tangible. It's not something we necessarily can touch. It's not solid, but it's there. We can't really see it, but it's there. And so that's what song is like. As we release, then you fill with some essence that actually expands your inner body and the spaces between your joints. And it starts to even go into your muscle spindles, which are soft and released, and into your fascia. And once you reach this point, you start to feel sort of either a dissolving feeling or a feeling of floating, or of what the inside of a balloon might feel like. And that's the state of song. Song is a relaxed state without collapsing. It's a relaxed state with structure and internal expansion. And in that internal expansion is space. And in that space is potential. And we can do anything we want with that potential, both physically and externally in our environment and internally in our mind and our heart. So that's my introduction to what is song, and I look forward to teaching you all the beautiful subtleties and nuances of song in our future videos. See you next lesson.